Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin from Florals.com, and today I have another Wild Whisper design theme project for you. Since I've used this collection quite a bit as it is part of my How to Kill a Kit with Style November kit for the month, I don't have a lot left of it. I do have a couple full 12x12s but not a lot. So I decided to do a card tutorial today. It's a really simple one, but I'm also going to show you how to finish off the inside of your card, which is a little bit different. So to start off our card, I'm starting off by cutting up the bottom section of the cut apart sheet. So this was in the collection pack, as you guys know, and I'm going to cut out the one that says Hello Paradise. I did not speed up this video, so this isn't in real time. This card didn't take me too long to make, so I just definitely wanted to show you guys kind of what my process is. You can also see that it seems like I'm going in slow motion. I'm certainly not. I'm just that slow at cutting sometimes, so that's what happens. So I showed you an A2 size card base before, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. That's when it's fully scored. Originally it is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, so it makes a perfect card once you score it. So I'm cutting the front of the card now, and I'm going to make it 4 by 5 1/4 so that I get a nice white frame around the edge. You'll see when I layer them up here. So you can kind of see that white border around that edge, and then I have the Hello Paradise. And looking at it now, the yellow sort of fades into the background of the same shade of yellow. So I definitely want to put something between those two layers so it gets a better pop. And right now I'm looking for what to do with that. I could either use another pattern paper, I could use a doily, and when I pulled out this doily from my stash, it fit pretty well. Obviously I could trim the square down if you want a doily to be visible even around the corners of the item. But what I actually decide to do is grab a sort of old tool that no one seems to use anymore, and I pull out my corner rounder. I have this Creative Memories one, which is definitely one of my favorites. It's lasted so long and it still works, and I definitely want to be using it more. Let me know if you still have this tool in your stash and when the last time you used it was. I know I haven't used mine since I did some cards a little while back, but I do enjoy using it and I'm always happy with the results, so I don't know why I don't use it more often. So that sort of makes the corners less harsh on this, which I think gives it a better, softer look. And also to provide more dimension between the doily and the sentiment, I am going to put some foam adhesive in there. I do think that added a big pop to it as well, which of course if you're mailing cards a lot more than you're giving them in person, you might not want to use as much foam adhesive. I used fairly large foam dots, so that did give it a lot of dimension. However, that's totally up to you and whatever you'd like to do. So to adhere my doilies, I always use liquid adhesive because I find that my tape runner does not stick well to the texture of the doily. So I always use liquid adhesive, and since I know the middle will be covered, I just go crazy with the adhesive in the middle because I know it doesn't matter if it's covered up, and then do dainty doily gluing around the outer edges just to get it firm and on there. You will notice that with the Wild Whisper paper, since they are a more glossy, smoother finish, that your liquid adhesives will move more easily on top of, which is great if you're someone who's picky about putting things down. You want to make sure they're centered. Definitely recommend using liquid adhesive with these papers. Since they have that buttery smoothness, it'll make it easier to use liquid adhesives and move things around as you wish. So here's where I bring up the foam adhesive. I'm just going to cut a couple strips of it. This is my lackluster foam adhesive that I have. I really need to buy some new stuff because this stuff does not even stick anymore. As you might know, I did do a craft room cleanup episode about my adhesives, and I found this old foam adhesive, and it's definitely disappointing, but it's still foam nonetheless, so I can just add more adhesive to make it stick to what I need it to stick to. So once the doilies dry in place, I'm going to stick this piece on top of it, and then you'd think we're done with the card, but we're not done quite yet. Now I'm going to do some little bit of work on the inside of the card. Like I mentioned, I don't usually finish the insides of my cards on video, but I decided today it'd be fun to add a little something special to this one. Granted, the brand new set of stamps is coming out in December, which is so close, and if you guys haven't seen me use these before, we delightfully got the chance to use these before they got available online, but they were available in select locations at special events. So in December, be on the lookout for these beautiful, beautiful script stamps, as well as the other stamps that you can find from Wild Whisper. And I'm using the My Favorite Things premium dye ink for the first time. I've never used their inks before, but I had this one from a small ink cube set, and it's called color is called Dill Pickle, which I thought was a really nice green for a leaf color. So what I'm going to spell out on the inside of the card is actually the word aloha. I thought that'd be perfect for the Hello Paradise greeting on the outside and then another hello on the inside. And if you're anything like me, I never know what to write on the inside of my cards. So doing big sentiments on the inside really helps me save some room for the items that I have to write, because that means I have to write less. It's really for me just about sending a card, not really what's in the card. Does that make sense? It's like the handmade gestures, what I appreciate the most, with a little handmade note. But I don't like writing loads and loads inside of my cards. It's just not my style. So I'm going to take these stamps and stamp them gently in there, and I was very impressed by this ink as well. These stamps took it beautifully, especially the ones that I hadn't used before. There's a couple letters here that I hadn't used before, but they stamped beautifully with this ink, and I can't wait to keep using these stamp sets on all of my projects. It's definitely one of the favorite fonts that I've ever had in a stamp set. I only have a couple alphabet stamp sets, but this one's definitely one of my favorites, and I highly recommend it if you guys are interested in investing into a stamp set. And don't forget to use my code if you do visit the Wild Whisper shop. I always have it down below, but it's DT Caitlin C. Of course, I always have it down below because it's a little longer than most discount codes, so you might need to double check the spelling. So I'm just simply lining up where the cursive would naturally lead to the next letter, which I've gotten better at practicing since the first time I used these stamps. I definitely didn't really know how to use them the first time I had them. Despite writing in cursive all the time, I don't tend to hand letter all the time, so having the pre-made letters was a little bit difficult for me to get the hang of. But again, totally picked it up once I practiced a little bit more. And of course, if you hand letter, you could definitely do that on the inside of your cards as well. So you'll see that I'm holding these ones kind of longer because I'm always concerned that when I'm using a new stamp that it might not transfer the ink properly all the way over, especially since I wasn't using a stamp pad underneath or any other sort of stamping tool. So I was kind of going free range on this and just diving in. The one thing I will say is that my sentiment was a little bit off kilter. It wasn't straight across, which is fine. I ended up fixing it with some decorations later on. So I pulled out these Sunny Days Ahead sequins from Spiegel Mom's Craft, which of course are part of my How to Kill a Kit with Style kit as well for this month. So I definitely wanted to highlight that. So I'm going to pull out some of the beautiful orange and yellow pieces here and dot them on the inside. So I put 3 little glue dots down with my liquid adhesive, and I'm going to be using the round yellow, the round orange, and then there's also a really, really pretty flat flower shape as well that I decided to use. And then on the outside of the card, I am going to continue the beautiful sequinage and put some of the 3D sequins in there. So there are some flowers that are actually 3-dimensional. So I'll tuck a couple of those around the pineapple and then in the upper left, just to give it some more dimension and more pizzazz. But that's pretty much it for this card. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. That helps me out a lot. And be sure to subscribe if you're not already, if you want to see more Wild Whisper designs items, or if you just want to see my regular content in general. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!